Hey guys, welcome back to another video in our series on responsible gambling, produced right here at WSN.com. This time we're taking a deep dive into how gambling is advertised and marketed. There are all kinds of regulations out there designed to protect at-risk gamblers. We're going to find out how they exist and how they work. Gambling regulations exist to protect the general public. There are certain groups that are particularly at risk from dangerous or misleading gambling advertisements. Underage people are not allowed to gamble, and it's up to casinos and sportsbooks to make sure they don't let them. This is why casinos and sportsbooks can't publish adverts that are likely to appeal to younger people, like using cartoons, for instance. Vulnerable or mentally fragile people are more susceptible to misleading or exaggerated adverts. They might turn to gambling as a way to make money or believe they are guaranteed to win. For existing gambling addicts, seeing gambling adverts and promotions can be a real challenge. These people can be protected by things like identity verification, opt-in requirements, and well-being checks for anyone who clicks on an advert. Self-exclusion and opt-out tools also go hand in hand with responsible marketing. It's important that operators don't advertise to people who have indicated they don't want to see that kind of content. The regulations in the gambling industry are designed to protect both players and operators. They are enforced by governing bodies in different jurisdictions, like the state-by-state gambling commissions in the US. The specific regulations vary depending on the state. Generally speaking, they prevent things like false advertising and the targeting of underage or vulnerable people, as well as promoting responsible gambling practices. If a gambling operator violates the regulations, they can receive financial penalties or lose their gambling license. In the US, the gambling regulations in place vary depending on the state. Every state has its own gambling laws, its own gambling commission, and its own regulations. However, some common themes exist across the country. All advertisements must include a warning message about the risks associated with gambling and the potential for addiction. The language has to be clear and easy to understand, and easy to see in the advert. Advertisements cannot target vulnerable groups, like underage people or anyone with a history of gambling problems. They also should not make false or misleading claims about the odds of winning or the benefits of gambling. To find out more about the specific regulations in your home state, you should contact the local licensing authority or helpline. You can find a list of state-by-state resources on WSN.com. Similar to the US, the gambling laws in Canada vary by province. While every province allows at least some form of gambling, only Ontario has embraced full-scale legal online gambling, including third-party operators. This is the same model as the top US sports markets like New Jersey, and means that operators like DraftKings and FanDuel can be found north of the border. The industry is regulated by the Alcohol and Gaming Commission of Ontario, who have set a detailed and strict range of advertising regulations. You can read about them in more detail on WSN.com. One big difference between Canada and the US is that Ontario outlaws advertisements that contain gambling inducements, like bonuses. On the other hand, these kind of promotions are common in the US. Again, television regulations vary depending on the jurisdiction. Some of the most important rules around TV adverts are there to protect children and potential underage gamblers. Gambling ads can't be shown during programs that primarily appeal to young people, for instance, or include images or languages aimed at children. Unlike targeted adverts online, the gambling ads on TV could be seen by pretty much any kind of person who happens to be watching at that time. This requires broad regulation to ensure they are socially responsible and not misleading, to protect casual viewers. The internet has revolutionized how we gamble. Thanks to smartphones, we've reached the point where we are walking around with our own personal sportsbook or casino in our pockets at all times. The internet has also become a popular place to advertise gambling, and strict regulations have been developed to protect users. YouTube is the world's largest video sharing platform and a popular location for gambling marketers. YouTube has its own policies surrounding gambling ads. Gambling adverts are only allowed in countries with legal gambling and must follow local regulations. They can only be shown to specially certified users, and you can opt out of seeing gambling ads if you wish. In the US, gambling ads on YouTube must include a responsible gambling message and a link to a website that provides information and resources for problem gambling. Gambling ads aren't allowed on videos tagged for children or featured on YouTube Kids. Gambling marketing on social media, including ads targeted at specific individuals, has grown considerably over the years. However, just like any other form of gambling advertising, it is subject to strict regulation depending on where the content is being shown. For a start, different platforms have their own advertising policies that gambling advertisers must follow. For instance, both Facebook and Instagram prohibit ads that promote real money gambling unless they are pre-approved and targeted to users over the legal gambling age. Many gambling operators partner with influencers to promote their products or services on social media. These partnerships are just another form of marketing and must comply with gambling regulations. Influencers need to disclose their partnerships and not try to mislead their followers. Gambling marketing at unregulated offshore sites is a totally different story. Offshore sites exist in a kind of legal gray area. With no strict regulation about how they market themselves, they can pretty much say whatever they want to try to get people to sign up. That can mean significantly more misleading advertisements about things like bonuses. In extreme cases, they might target underage gamblers or vulnerable bettors who have a history of problem gambling. Proper regulation at legal sites means that these people are protected rather than targeted. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to check out the other videos in our Responsible Gambling series. You'll find them all on WSN.com. We'll see you next time.